Out in the open. Fresh air. Best time to be alive.
What is it?
Come on in. Let me know if you need anything. Take a seat by the fire and I'll send someone over. If you need a meal or room, I've got both. Let's sate that appetite, huh? Bit of advice. Folks here don't care for magic or those that use it. If you're intent on it,
Thanks for the offer.
check at the college up in
I'm saving
Zinto.
up for a new sword.
Either that or go see the Jarl's court wizard. All right,
You look like you've seen your share of adventure. I envy you that. In fact, maybe you can help me with something. I want to be an adventurer like you. My father says I can't. He says he needs me to stay here and work the farm. And even if he did let me be an adventurer, we couldn't afford to buy armor. His name is Mralki, and he's the innkeeper here. I hope you could change his mind. Thank you. I can't stand the thought of being trapped in this village for the rest of my days.
I only take real coin here. No handouts and no bartering. My son? Eric? What about him? Did something happen? Is he all right? But the world is a dangerous place. Eric has no idea what he's getting himself into. What's more, he's got no armor. I'll have to save up the money for it. You would give your own coin to help my son? I'm moved by your compassion. Your kind deed will not go unrewarded, my friend. Tell Eric I've changed my mind and will visit Whiterun soon to fit him for armor.
Did you have any luck talking to my father? I can't thank you enough, friend. I hope you'll come back to Rorikstead soon and pay me a visit. Maybe we can swap stories about our adventures over a mug of ale at the inn. All right, then. My father, Mralki, manages the inn. He used to be a soldier, but he left that life behind.
What do you need, my friend? Until next time.
My name's Yarborough, and yes, I do accept tips.
I heard you sneaking around downstairs last night.
No reason. I heard this place needed a bard, so here I am.
Leave it alone.
I just wanted to try on your old armor.
I play Nord music mostly.
I thought I might be old enough to wear it.
I've told you 100 times. I locked that chest for a reason. I don't want you getting a head full of ideas about adventure and glory.
I'm old enough to decide how to live my life, and I'd be honored.
Thank you, friend. I'm saving up to buy a new lute, and, well, you know, musical instruments don't grow on trees.
Yes.
Well, actually, some are made of wood, so I guess technically they do. But you understand what I mean.
I'll take your challenge. If I win,
What would you like me to play?
Adventure, and with no objections from you.
Oh, a fine request. I would be happy to play this for you.
Yes? Need something?
Strode upon great Yobasker to meet the sun.
Oh, you frighten me, traveler. You shouldn't just greet someone unexpectedly. So my brethren used to tell me, but I feel it's warranted. I don't care if Ulfric himself bent his knee and asked me to join the cause. I'm staying inside where it's safe and warm. Was a Stormcloak. Now I'm just an ordinary shut-in, never going to leave this inn, as long as Meralki is willing to have me. Maybe I can marry his son, and then they'll let me stay here forever. Well, not because of what he does. I liked him better when he was just an innkeeper's son. But if I was his wife, I suppose I could stay here forever, whether he was here or not. I'm cursed. It's been with me since I was a young child. It's the only explanation for what happened at Helgen. No, this was before. I'd just sworn the oath. But, as one of the less talented sisters, I was tasked mostly with retrieving supplies from the city. It happened on a Morndas. I was traveling on the road west to Helgen when pearls of snow began to pelt my brow. I no sooner blinked when the snowstorm came thundering from above. Except, there was a piece of black crouched further down the road, a woman wearing a hooded robe, holding a small child. Indeed, I swore an oath to Ulfric Stormcloak, my brothers and sisters, but my oath to the gods came before this menial task. I called out to her. I was relieved when she stood up, but the relief was short-lived. She scurried off into the forest. It was no place for a child. The sun was dimming, and in the winter, the night is as fast as it is long.
How old were you when you...
The air was cold,
I know where
but
this
not
is
the
going.
kind of cold that pimples your skin.
I've said many a time.
No, this cold was raw enough that you could feel it pass through your teeth, even when your mouth was
I want to be
closed.
safe. I'm not afraid of the dangers out there. The only thing I'm afraid of is wasting my life on this farm.
Yes, that's your mother's side of the family.
As I said, no place for a child. so I hurried after her. Best I could tell, she was headed towards Orphan Rock, the one place every Nord child in Helgen fears. Aye, a Hagraven's nest, but it isn't Hagraven's that made this story. It was Nord men and women, telling tales to get their children to pray to the Nine. The story went that if you forgot to pray, Arkay would send Hagraven to snatch you from your bed. Children were told that all the witches that hunt Orphan Rock were once boys and girls like them. As a young woman grown, I've long since outlived such juvenile tales, but my hand couldn't help but reach for my weapon. Darkness set in. I bit my lip, trying to keep my focus on the woman and the child. I followed their tracks through the narrow passageway formed by the rock, but when I came out on the other side, the trail had vanished. I found myself standing in a plot of followed dirt, empty save a rock marker. I called out again to the woman, but there came no answer. Then I called out once more, and then came a reply. It was a knock, like knuckles rapping against a door, and with each knock, the noise grew louder. No, not louder, closer. I swiveled around, and in my panic I dropped my mace. It wasn't until I'd reached for it that I saw it. The snow jumping off the dirt, as if the knocking wasn't coming from behind me, but beneath. Higher and higher, until it was right under my feet. And that's when the clouds shifted, and the moonlight lit the marker in front of me. It wasn't a rock marker. It was a grave marker. I did what any sane Nord would have done. I ran. When I got back to the camp, the quartermaster demanded to know where I'd been and what had happened to the supplies. In truth, no explanation would suffice. It's just as well, because even I can't explain what was under my feet that night.
Father, how old were you when you left home?
I know where this is going, son. As I've said many a time, the world is a dangerous place. You're much safer here at the farm with me.
But I don't want to be safe. I'm not afraid of the dangers out there. The only thing I'm afraid of is wasting my life on this farm.
That's what I told my brothers and sisters back at the camp. They too thought it was an excuse for not retrieving the supplies. It didn't help that I was known for telling stories by the campfire. To them, this was just another tale I had cooked up like a chef makes beef stew. There's a lot of tales parents tell their children to get them to eat their greens or pray to the divines. One of them is the story of the Hagraven of Orphan Rock. They used to say if you didn't pray to the Nine, Arkay would send the old hag to kidnap you in your sleep. The witches of Orphan Rock are said to be the grown-up versions of all the children who forgot their supper-time prayers. As a young woman grown, I've long since outlived such juvenile tales, but my hand couldn't help but reach for my weapon. Farewell. Something on your mind? Until next, how can I help you? It's always been a part of me. You see, my mother told me that I nearly died in childbirth. As a result, part of my soul was close to the void, and the wandering dead were drawn to me in their confusion. Yet, she told me not to worry. As long as my heart was full of life, it would fill that empty part of my soul and ward off the dead. Her advice was unnecessary, as a child's spirit is as stout as Shore's bones. It wasn't until I was a girl of 12, my heart broken by a boy I loved, that at first I yearned for death. It did. It's silly to say, because as adults we experience things 1,000 times more hurtful than a simple heartbreak. But never in my years did I feel a stronger sense of grief, or a deeper wound, than when he said the word, no. I wanted to die more than anything. In our case, I'll fit to grant my wish.
Your mother's side of the family talking. Just stay on for one more season. That's all I ask.
Indeed. That night, as I lay in my bed, the air was so cold, and even in the middle of the sun's height, I huddled under the covers, trying to stave off the cold. I had reached a point where I felt I could sleep, when I heard it. The breathing. No matter how much I shrunk into my covers, I couldn't avoid that foul hiss, but I dared not look. Then came the sound of footsteps walking to my door. I was about to go into shock when I heard my mother's voice. I leapt out of bed and ran to the door, flinging it open, and there she was. My mother, holding a candle, and standing over her shoulder was a wraith. My mother was a servant, and had yet to finish her duties to our Lord. The boy who broke my heart was the nobleman's son. I didn't. I did what my mother always told me to do. I wanted to live, then more than any other time, as 2 lives were on the line. And it worked, until I became a Stormcloak. I think all that talk of dying and going to Sovngarde brought it all back. No, I'll starve to death first. I am a daughter of Skyrim. I don't fear death. I fear fear. And spiders. But everyone's afraid of crawlies. Get it off of me! Wait, I don't feel anything. That's a mean trick. Oh, lots of things, although they usually happen at night, and when I'm alone. But I can't take that chance of them happening when others are around. I'd go out and help Redlith pick out cabbage heads, only they wouldn't be cabbage heads. They'd be the heads of little children. Then maybe Ragnar will ride by, still making the journey to Whitehorn as a headless phantom. Or maybe I'd visit Rorik's manor, and that bear he has mounted on his wall will come alive and reach down and bite him, right while he's cooking. Even here there are times I feel like my presence is a danger. Sometimes when I look up at the animals mounted above Noraki, I see the eyes move, as if someone were looking at me from behind them.
Stay on for one more season. That's all I ask.
All right then.
What is it? Listen to me, stranger, and listen well. The Khajiit caravans are not to be trusted. Sanyon says betrayers shave their rear ends to resemble the Nord ones they are fond of licking. But Zajira, she is loyal to the Dawnborn. Her rear end is not shaved. Moons guide you. Need something? They are traitors. No, not traitors. Traitors! They sell wares and weapons to the worshippers of the false god. It seems the stranger's ears are full of yarn. They are not traders, they are traitors. 'Betrayers, backstabbers, infidels, dogs. 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 ' He is a Talmor agent and Zajira's friend. She sends him letters by courier. It has the list of names and locations of potential Talos worshippers. Sanyon then kills the infidels and makes a tableau. That is a fancy elf word for a murder party. This gets the attention of the Stormcloaks, who then redouble their efforts against the Empire. The saviors get stronger, and Zajira gets a skooma. Everybody wins.
I'm old enough to decide how to live my life, and I'd be honored to break the law. If you just let me, I'm strong enough to handle it.
Everyone dies. The skooma has told Zajira as much. This makes her feel better about all the dying.
You can open the lock on my chest. You have everything in it.
I'll take your challenge. If I win,
Zajira did not say this. That is the meat talking. Does not have nice things to say like the skooma. Zajira thinks your theory is crazier than a barrel full of orcs. Now she is convinced your skooma is better than Sanyon's. You must bring more. Zajira will do whatever you please. Oh no, they cannot transport the skooma to Zajira. It is not allowed. For this, there are peddlers in Sanyon's employ. You may see them on the road from time to time. They smell of hay and skeevers. All right. Yes, Zajira does good work too. The bodies west of Deeperwood, that was her doing. People come to pray to the false god. Zajira sometimes warns them that Talos is but a man. Yet still they pray. Zajira has no choice but to tell the saviors of their blasphemy. She thinks it would be best if they die. Then they can meet Talos in the next world, where he is just another man scratching himself and smelling his fingers.
An inn, huh? Sleeping indoors isn't natural.
I told you to leave it alone.
Yes, Zajira finds Talos worshippers and reports them to Sanyon. Right now, she is shadowing the one called Sonia. She is waiting for her to leave the inn and contact her fellow Talos worshippers. Zajira has waited a very long time.
if you just let me, I'm strong enough to handle it.
Strong, yes.
Zajira agrees, but these are not the innocents. These are Talos worshippers. The saviors of the moon have stated they must be punished. Zajira does not like the killing so much, but as she has said before, sometimes the only way to open their eyes is to close them. All right. Do you not know? They are the wielders of the dawn magics, ancient spells that brought the moons back to elsewhere and saved all of Tamriel. Oh no, it was never a matter of when, but always a matter of how. The saviors uncovered the dawn magic, and many of us bore witness to its splendor. Zajira is forever grateful to her golden-skinned friends. Even now, they provide her with the skooma that keeps her close to the moons. Why? Do you have some? Why are we wasting time talking? That is not how Sanyon does it. It is always skooma first, talk later. Zajira does not trust strangers. Why not? What does Zajira have to do for you? Or to you? I promise I won't tell anyone. Not even Sanyon has to know. Yes, more than dangerous. Some may find such behavior sickening. But Zajira does not care what Madran says. It is not wrong to surrender to a feeling. Khajiit wishes it was so. But Madran cares only for the health of his pockets. That is why he betrayed Zajira and the Saviors. Zajira does not know what this means, this side effect. She experiences many effects, and they are all good.
I just wanted to try on your own.
Sometimes Zajira sees things. Other times she hears them. They all give her comfort. On occasion, she experiences things beyond explanation. Millions of years in a matter of seconds. The taste of music, deep echoes of silence. She wakes up clutching a bottle, knowing an entire world was inside. And she longs to consume another. She yearns for one more breath.
I'll take your challenge. If I win, I get to start a new life as an adventurer, and with no objections from you.
Keep an eye out for Talos worshippers.
If you've got some business in Rorikstead, you should start by speaking to Juan. Yes, that's right. Look around you. Most of the lands you see are mine. Most of this I purchased while my comrades were fighting in the south, helping the Empire against the Aldmeri Dominion. Back then, nothing would grow here, and so the land was worthless. Now, thanks to the hard work and the gods' blessings, our farms prosper. Not yet, anyway, though it certainly could. With most of the Hold's fighting men committed to the war, there are fewer swords to keep the road safe from brigands and wild beasts. And of course, as the war drags on and supplies run low, our ample fields and stores of food will make a tempting target for desperate men. The best we can hope for is a swift end to the conflict. The longer the war goes on, the worse it will be for all of us, I'm afraid. Aye, that I did. I commanded a force of several dozen men, most of them levies from villages in this part of the Hold. I damn near met my end in that war. An old merry soldier ran me through with his blade and left me for dead. A healer named Joanne saved my life. He's been my closest friend ever since. I tell you, that man is a miracle worker. Thank you. Here, this is for you.
Did you see those guards? Get out of line and you'll have them to deal with. Do I detect a bit of jealousy in your tone? I would hardly blame you. What calling could be more noble than this? I see in your eyes that you think I jest. I assure you I don't. I am proud, and rightfully so, of the work we do here. Working the soil with your hands, seeing your seeds take root and grow, tending a herd. There is a joy in honest labor you won't find elsewhere. In Whiterun, mostly. Ennis handles the business arrangements, but I know that he has a few purchasers who give us a fair price. Ennis prides himself on his shrewd business schemes. For my part, I'm far happier working with cattle and crops than with people. Until next time.
Name's Ennis. If you've got friends who do business in Whiterun, they might know me.
Come on in. Just stoked the fire. Take a seat and get the coal down.
If you're thinking of setting up to farm, you picked the right place. Secret? What makes you think there's a secret? There are no secrets here, my curious friend. Our prosperity is simply the result of hard work, good fortune, and the blessings of the gods. How can we? We're a community of farmers, not fighting men. If not for the war, we might have enough guards in the hold to protect the settlements. That the dragons should return now is most unfortunate. Have you met Rorik? He owns these lands, and it's from him that our village gets its name. We've been friends for many years now. Rorik fought for the Empire in the Great War. He was gravely wounded, and so was brought before me. I was a healer then, you see. We were as close as kinsmen, And when Rorik returned home, I came with him. I'm happy to spend my twilight years here with my good friend.
Crops sold well at the market. Well done.
I'm trying something new, offering discounts for bulk purchases. So far, that seems to be working.